Hello YouTube. Right, so I decided to do a little bit of lockdown learning tutorials, focusing on different types of techniques that I use in my predator angling. So this one is going to be about drop shot fishing. Going to go through items of tackle required, so the terminal tackle that you need, the line, hooks, etc, etc. Then going to look at two types of knots for the drop shot fishing, one quite common and one not so common. I'm going to do a step by step on how to tie those knots, so hopefully slow enough and from a perspective that you can see them, and try to do that as well at home. Then I'm going to go through different methods of hooking your chosen baits onto your drop shot rig. And finally, bait selection, just types of baits that I've used myself, and baits that I've had good success with. So we're going to break this into a few different sections, but for now, let's get on with laying out the items of tackle required. So first up, critical item of the whole rig is the hooks. I've used all sorts of hooks. Found loads of really good ones, so I'm just going to run through some of the stuff that I've used and some of the stuff that I've got faith in. So first up, decoy shot rig. Is the camera focusing on that? Better obviously in front of my face. Decoy shot rigs, they're in a size 2, but really like those hooks, nice fine wire, and they've got that critical gap so that the fish can bite down and there's not like a narrow section where they're not going to be able to get good hook penetration on them. Super sharp hooks. A good version is Trokar. They're drop shot. They're really sharp, lovely hooks. What else have we got? VMC Nico Zanders. They are nice, and we'll go into why later on. And last but not least, Bkk. Is that focusing on that? Yeah. So Bkk Mutso circles. That's in a size 6. Really impressed with these. I used to use a hook similar to these made by Sakura, I think. But these, really impressed with these. Moving on, obviously line, depending on what you're drop shotting for, because don't forget you can drop shot for pike. Doesn't matter. You're obviously going to want to wire up trace or something similar, but let's just concentrate on the other predators, so the perch and the zander. Perch wise, that's my go-to. 6 pound FC Sniper by Sunline. And for a lot of my snaggier fishing or European stuff and UK zander, I'll go for the same, but the 12 pound in the FC Sniper. And that's just 0.31, so that's quite a nice diameter. And then last but not least, the bottom of your rig is your weights. So that's some that I've got. They're tungsten, different profiles and bits. There's a few brass ones in there as well. It's just usual, get them off of eBay, local tackle shop, wherever. There's some tungsten ones. Obviously you do get other drop shot weights, like that one there. So that's just your normal. I like these when I'm fishing in heavy flow or snaggy places like the River Severn, etc. And all I'll do is I just get the biggest drop shot weights I can. I mean, that's a beast. And then I just get my pliers and I'll just cut it down. If it's too much and I'm not feeling that I've got enough sensitivity, I just literally snip it down with my side cutters. So just get big drop shot weights and cut them down. Obviously not if you're using tungsten, because it's going to get a bit expensive and it probably won't cut anyway. Okay, so now we're going to go straight on to the two types of knots that I like to use. So to help you follow it easier, I'm just using a larger hook and some braid. Straight through the eye. Fold your line across. Take the hook to the top of that point. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to fold that hook back through this loop 4 to 5 times. Once, twice, 3, 4 times. You can do it 5, 6, whatever, but that's fine. Then, for me, I like to put that on a flat surface. I'll obviously moisten this if it was fluoro, and then evenly pulling up both sides so that I get even tension on it. Not as great with braid, to be honest, and obviously I haven't moistened it, but that does demonstrate how it pulls up. Then just dress the knot a little bit, and there we go. And that obviously sits 90 degrees to our main line, and that's the perfect presentation. Using braid again just to demonstrate the knot so it's easier to follow, and obviously a larger hook. So you need to fold your fluoro to form quite a tight loop, because you're going to force that through the eye of the hook. So that's through the eye of our hook, and that doubles along. So we've got our 2 tag ends at the bottom here, and we've got our loop at the top. Now I'm just going to pinch on that eye to hold all of those 4 strands together. This loop, I'm going to bend it round to form that double loop. This tag end here, I'm going to rotate that through here 5, 6 times. A little bit smaller. Once, twice, 3, 4. I'd go 5 or 6, but I think with this braid it's going to be quite difficult to dress it and set it up, because it's going to be grinding on itself. Pull that to there. Obviously, if this was your fluoro, you'd have moistened it, and then pull it down a little bit more. Pull that again, and using the 2 tag ends, pull that really tight up. At this point, you no longer need this loop, so you can cut that away, and that will not weaken the knot in any way. That's cut away, and then whichever one of these ends is your shorter end, in this case this one, I push it back down through the eye, and that will be my drop shot tag end. And then I orientate the knot upwards, and there we go. Again, that gives me that perfect 90-degree presentation, and that knot is super strong. So, hooking options, various ones. That's why I ran through the different hooks that I like to use, different styles for different techniques. Worm style baits. That's where the longer hooks come in. So that one there, I like that for the worm style baits. Come on camera, do your thing, focus. So for my worm style hooks, I like that much longer shank. That sits completely inside that bait. I've threaded it on like you would a jig. So that's sitting on there like that. Then you got your traditional nose hooking, which is just literally skin hooked the front of that little bait there. Very realistic, the fish. Again, paddle tail, also good for the drop shot. So it's literally just skin hooked him right in there. And then if you're fishing in cover, like through fallen trees, sunken trees and bits and pieces, and I don't want my hook point digging into some of that timber, what I'll do is I'll just push it through so that that is in there, but the hook point is still hidden and it's not going to dull off. But when those fish bite down onto it, whack, hook point exposed, and hopefully another fish on the bank. Moving on to baits that I like for my drop shot fishing. Got various options. I've got a big box of drop shot baits in the boat. Let's just run through a few of these, just fire through ones that I've used in the past to great effect. Belter of a lure, Flash J, really like those as drop shot hooks, absolute blinders. Good old Lunk City Ribster, that's an absolute killer in my drop shot box. Staying on the Lunk City subject, Sligo, another nice bait for the drop shot. Westin Kick Tees, really good bait on the drop shot, like that a lot. Can't remember what these are called. They're a CWC bait, again in that nice Arkansas shiner colour. They've got a nice paddle tail at the back. It's not a paddle tail, it's just like a flat mermaid type tail. Really like those as a drop shot bait. Absolute killers for Xander in the green. What else have we got? Not leaving Savage Gear out. Those, I can't remember what they were, like 3D jointed thingies, but I like to do those, but I like to rig them on their side like that and just get a lot more movement out of them in the water. Fish fillets, like them, really good bait again. Worm type baits, I think that's a Rains bait. They can be absolutely brilliant after flooded water, so the perch can really get addicted to the old worms, and that profile bait done really well on Grapham on that actually. What else have we got? So that's out the box, and some of the ones that we ran through there. Good old Westin Stanley the Stickleback, that's a really nice drop shot bait. That is in the 5.5 centimetres that we saw on the nose hooking. Oh, getting the right way up. Yeah, like those, really like those, nice baits. Going over to some of the Molix stuff. Sligo, that's the worm type bait that I showed you on that larger, longer shank presentation. Like those, nice baits. And then the Sator worm, which is this one that we just did the point of the hook so it was slightly hidden. These baits are super cool. So you've got that nice air chamber at the bottom here, and that will literally sit directly in that water flow. That really keeps it buoyant, and all of that ribbing, like with some of the other baits, sorry, get that so you can see it, those ribs, I like that for the simple reason that they'll hold scent, so you can rub any of the products in there and all of that will sit in those grooves, and as you're pulling it through the water, that's obviously displacing and adding to the attraction in there, and obviously that also gives loads of movement, all of that rippling in really still water. If you're fishing alongside a slack, under a jetty or whatever, where they're out the flow, they're going to pick up on that in flooded water through their lateral line. They're going to feel all of that vibration. So they're the main sort of baits. What I'll do is I'll stick those in the links below. I'll do the descriptions in there so that you've got links to where you can find them in the UK. I think that's about it. So I hope that's been informative, guys, and of some use to you, going through the various knots and bits and pieces that I use. If you've got any questions, obviously stick them in the comments below, and also any ideas for videos, stuff that you want me to put out there. stuff that you want to pick my brains on, or just see videos on how-tos, or just any subjects really that you want to do, stick it in the comments below. Thanks for subscribing and thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.